Hello, how are you? Welcome back to 9 Years in China with Teacher Kenny. We're going to talk about something that China is pretty famous for, but I didn't realize how bad until I got there. China is not like America in many ways. When it comes to pollution, they say they are doing their best, and maybe they are in places. They're trying to control the quality of the air. But plain and simple, most of the air in China you need to just ignore it, because the pollution can be really bad, and it can come from several sources. And when you want to look at that beautiful evening sunset or morning sunrise, sometimes it's just orange because of all the crap in the air. America is so much different. And when it comes to breathing and whatnot, American air, hey, it's the best, or the best I know of, compared to what's going on over there. And I found out, immediately when I got to China, I get off the airplane and get my luggage, and I have to go sit down and wait for my flight to go from Beijing to Hefei, Anhui province. And I'm curious. I just landed in China, so I'm looking at everything. I'm looking out the windows, and it's dark. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm trying to look and see what I can see, and you can't see a damn thing in Beijing. I got there and I could hear airplanes landing. This is Beijing. This is the capital of China. It's a busy place. And I could hear airplanes coming in, and I would go out to the window. I just want to see. I've never been in an airport that busy. The airport in Little Rock, Arkansas is like that, compared to a big, gigantic metropolis like Beijing. And you know what? I couldn't see squat. It sounded like the airplane was right out the window from where I'm at, and you cannot see. And as it got more and more daylight, it was awful. You have to cut the pollution. Now, I'm not talking about fog. I'm talking about pollution. You have to cut it with a freaking knife so you can see what's going on. So I got a dose of that right away, what it's like to be in that kind of city. That's the reason Beijing always has all these warnings about if it's safe to breathe or not. Then later, after I got to Fuyang, Anhui province is a farming province mostly. Has lots of grain and things like that. And the way they take care of the land is every fall after they get the crops. China's a poor country. They just can't go out and buy tons and tons of fertilizer and chemicals to put in the soil. So what they do, they just kind of go the natural way. They cut off, they go through and they cut everything off, and they leave the stubble in the ground. And before they do any kind of disking, they have a burn. And I'm talking about they burn all the stubble. And when you take in a whole province, a whole gigantic farming province, and they're all doing everything, everything's kind of done by the clock. It's time to harvest the beans. It's time to harvest the milo or whatever. And that's what they do. So here it comes. We've been Fuyang, in the city, but they be burning out in the country, and all of a sudden, all that smoke comes filtering into you, and it may be there for days because where we're at in China, there's no jet stream. There's nothing to push the stuff out. It comes in and hangs around, kind of like the rain. It comes in and hangs around and leaves on its own when it's ready. And I could feel it. I knew it's not good to breathe. But also, when I realized I had laundry hanging outside, and all of a sudden my clothes that I had washed in a little bitty tiny Chinese washing machine, and that's another story there, my clothes were black. So I had to go wash my clothes again because of the pollution. Then I just started hanging everything inside. Okay. And that happens all that October or whatever, whenever they do all this. Then the next year, I moved to Huainan, kind of about an hour north of Hefei, kind of central Anhui province. Huainan is a coal city. They're famous for the coal. Guess what color coal smoke is? It's black. Looks just like coal, but it's black. And the same thing, but this can happen all the time in Huainan. It's not a seasonal deal. So every time you wash clothes, you had to look, make sure the air was okay. It wasn't coming back into the city, so you could just wash and have a clean wash. And if the air looked bad, you just had to hang your stuff on the inside and let it air dry inside your apartment. Pollution is it's a really huge issue there, and like I said, they say they're working on it, and they probably are, but it's just hard to kill a monster that big overnight. And the other thing, as a photographer, I had to deal with that also as a photographer. I pray for those pristine days, where all the cumulus clouds are nice and white and puffy and the sky's blue and all that, because most of the time it just wasn't. And so if you went out to take a picture of a sunset, it didn't look very good. The sunrise didn't look very good. So as a photographer, I had to hope for those good days also. And when we had those good days that you could do a landscape type shot, you just kind of ran out the door with your equipment and try to get some good shots. Just walking around shooting plants and animals and models and things like that is okay for that, but not for landscapes. So lots of pollution in China. I pray that they get rid of it. It'll keep people healthy, because there are lots of people have, just like me, and I'm not even a native Chinese guy, but when you're over there, sinus problems just come to you that you can't help to get it. And it seems like my kids are always sick, either from having a cold because they can't get warm enough, or some kind of respiratory illness. So anyhow, pollution's bad there. Be thankful that you are here where I am in America, or you're in a country that has good air. So be thankful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We'll talk to you a little later. Subscribe. We'll see you later.